up to 90 miles per hour. Boarding for the 7:30 a.m. departure, Murray showed his ticket with pleasure. Parlor Car A, seat 21. He was ensconced in a plush upholstered easy chair when the train jolted out of the station. The ride smoothed out, and the men chatted about the 2 days of festivities in the nation's capital that would be let loose upon their return with the hero of Manila. From time to time, some took advantage of the smoking car with its leather chairs, well-selected library, and fully supplied writing tables. Adjoining it was a completely outfitted barber shop. In the dining car, a dozen tables were covered with fine linen and set with sparkling glass and silver. Waiters served broiled bluefish, sirloin steak, and mutton chops. Porters and waiters, in spotless white, were the only black people aboard the train, except for Daniel Murray. The recognition bestowed on Murray by Washington's leading citizens with his inclusion on the famous committee was the kind for which he had worked assiduously, traveling far from a humble start in life. Yes, he knew he was what later would be referred to as the token black. No, he did not crave the company of white people. His lifelong objective was assimilation into mainstream culture and equal political footing and opportunity. The pronouncement, "We are Americans in every fiber of our being, and we have the aspirations common to the citizens of this republic," had issued from a political meeting of race activists that he had presided over earlier in 1899. Daniel Murray was a raceman to the core. If he took any pride in being the first black man to join this organization, or the only one to be invited to that social occasion, his greater goal, his long-range vision, was to be in the vanguard of merit-based recognition for every American of color. The rise of those in Murray's black elite circle was realized rather than potential. Its members had attained high levels of education, achievement, culture, and economic security, and thus negated from the start a false line of reasoning that white supremacists gave against racial equality. They were living proof that African Americans did not lack the ability to become useful contributors to mainstream society. Though their race consciousness and identification were strong, they were ready to think of themselves as American citizens first, poised for assimilation into society at large. Though believing that they had earned the right to be evaluated as individuals rather than prejudged, much less dismissed, on account of color, many, including Murray and his wife, energetically took on the role of leaders of the race. They worked for the advancement of all people of color in the spirit of noblesse oblige, yes, but for other reasons too. Though they identified with all blacks according to race, there was another consciousness of kind operating, and that was class. So long as others lumped all African Americans together, those in the upper class were embarrassed by some of their unschooled low-class counterparts, and that generated some of the energy they put into uplift activities. Prospects rose for all African Americans following emancipation, and progress was substantial through the Reconstruction period. But a backward slide commenced with the government's refusal to honor the U.S. Constitution's 14th and 15th Amendments, granting all rights of citizenship to people of every color. In the name of reconciliation with the South, the new citizens were abandoned to renewed oppression by white supremacists. Not only did they lose ground in political influence, economic prospects, and access to public services, the government failed to protect them against lawlessness as extreme as murder. Jim Crow tactics, segregation, discrimination, intimidation, humiliation confronted all black